I cried because they didn't know how to release that anger.
Things.
So
I started doing that in the bed.
Yeah, I didn't get angry. I got sad.
I started doing that in the bed.
Yeah, I didn't get angry. I got sad.
Being
I was telling Lee in Mexico
about
me,
you know, for my
being
my school as Catholic school,
and how the nuns would grab me from the hair here,
and then they were just like,
how the nuns would grab me from the hair here,
and then oh my God, that hurt. Like seriously jerk.
They were just disciplinary.
Oh my God,
both my parents were actually disciplinary.
Because they were just
disciplinary.
super strict.
Both my parents were actually disciplinary.
My dad was because of that, and my mom was just like
very quiet dude, but that's because of that. And my mom was just like, and I still became like what I became. Like I didn't give a shit. Like they still became like what I became. I didn't give a shit. Like they heard. I would pretend like they heard. But I'd be like, I would look at the wall. Oh my God.
But I think that's what I appreciated actually a lot. Getting hang out with you. But I think that's what I appreciated actually a lot. Getting hang out with you. You're like 10 years your mentality around other people. Like you just like very tough exterior. Your mentality around other people. Like something that I could very tough exterior. Great dad. I love my dad. And my hero. But there's a lot of things that, great dad. I love my dad. That's my hero. I don't want to say there's a lot of things streets in Schaumburg of Illinois. But just I don't want to say because we're not like streets in Schaumburg of Illinois. Somebody doesn't talk to you right. Seeing how you interact with individuals. Somebody doesn't talk to you right. And that was I don't like competition, and that was stuff that I wouldn't do. But now that I'm older and a lot more confident myself, like I feel like I picked up some tendencies. Do you wish that you could go back to a certain situation and be like, oh, man, all the time. Do you wish that you could go back to a certain situation and be like, oh, man, you can recall right now? All the time, man. I mean, well, what's the situation? Like, I mean, well, what's the situation? Like, am I of where I'm gonna be in life? Do I have the knowledge that I do of just where I'm gonna be in life? No, you're just I was just me. Who am I gonna step up to, bro? I was like, who am I gonna step up to? You know, I was like, I'm not even in the percentile of growth. Did you know that? So they were worried that I was not even in the percentile of going to be on track. So they were worried that I was a certain weight. So to be on track to be a certain height, I weighed like 85 pounds. So I was like freshman year, but I weighed like 85 pounds. So were you like a good kid, bad kid? Did you get in trouble? Were you the class clown? So were you like a good kid, bad kid? Did you get in trouble? Were you the class clown? What kind of kid? No, I was a super timid kid. I mean, I was really bad in social situations. I didn't know how to make friends. I was really bad in social situations. I didn't know how to make friends. Like going to high school, but I mean, I had friends in grade school and like going to high school, but my shell and start learning how to talk to people. And not be so afraid. Come out of my shell and start learning how to talk to people. I kind of just like stayed to the side. But yeah, I wasn't a class clown. I know that for a fact. I just took this narcissism test. I wanted attention. I know that for a fact. Like 18, I just took this narcissism test. I thought I'd be way more narcissistic. Yeah, either way, I was like just a quiet kid. B team. Sports? Yeah, baseball. I was terrible at that. I was too short. B team. I didn't have any athletic ability. I was terrible at that. I was too short.
So was Muggsy Bogues.
I didn't have any athletic baseman 4th through 8th grade.
I mean, so was Muggsy Bogues, I think.
Second baseman 4th through 8th grade. All-stars every year.
I can. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the pictures. I've seen the one picture of you. I can. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the pictures. Or I've seen the one picture of you just like chubby cheek, like a baby with a. No, you were not. Yeah, just a chubby cheek. Bro, I literally thought that was true, and I'm like, man, you have to look like. Bro, I literally thought that was true, and I'm like, man, you have to look like you're by the way. The first day that I heard your voice, by the way, the first day we were playing I heard your voice with Diesel and when somebody else was playing on Vacant. But I remember, and I'm like, Diesel and somebody else. You're playing somebody else. No, but I remember, I'm like, damn, this has got a deep-ass voice. No, I don't know why, but you sounded like, I don't know, you were talking like a grown dude. No, I don't know why, but you sounded like, I don't know, you were talking like a grown dude. No. But I remember that clearly. When do you think was the first time we met? But I remember that clearly. When do you think was the first time we met? Well, I mean, I can tell you the story how you and I met, but I don't know if you want that on camera with Well, so we were one of the better competitive teams. Yeah, go. Well, so we were one of the better competitive teams. We won the first 3 major tournaments. We were actually, we won the first 3 major tournaments. To this guy named Optic Nerve, and then Optic reached out. He wasn't even working there much longer. To this guy named Optic Nerve, no longer works there. I mean, he wasn't even working there much longer after. He basically said, yeah, we're looking for a competitive team right now. We basically said, yeah, we're looking for a competitive team right now. And my mind was blown. We make YouTube videos and we make money off of it. Back up. Because I had posted like clips to my YouTube channel. Back up. Because I had posted like clips to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You want no business talking to me. You were just very short.
Yeah.
Like, who is this guy?
No, I knew who you were. I just didn't want to have anything to do with you at the time.
Yeah, seriously though, that's what the tough part was.
Is that what it felt?
Well, because Optic was so tight-knit back then, I felt like I had to be in your good graces to really feel a part. I was only close with, like, Diesel and Predator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Predator was the
I think
OG.
that's, I mean, still to this day, I think that's how Optic is, right? Like, it's literally the same group of guys since the beginning.
The first time somebody meets you, they gotta approach you the right way. Because if they don't, I think you write them off immediately.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back to the origin story. Take me through the competitive years of 2010 through 2012.
It's pretty broad, man.
Yeah, 2010 is what? Modern Warfare 2?
2010 to 2012, nothing happened. Nothing notable besides, COD XP.
Yeah, 2011. COD XP.
COD XP, we won that event, $100,000.
You just made $100 grand. How does that feel? I don't want to work at McDonald's anymore.
You guys end up winning, and again, I knew that we were gonna win it. I don't know how, but I remember that the moment that you guys won, I was in the middle of the crowd, and Jericho, Gold Glove, respect at the time, or Guy and Bashir Musa, and T Martin were all there.
Yeah.
From there, let's jump through 2013, Black Ops 2. Yeah. You're blowing up for the first time ever after only sponsoring people in Halo 3. Here comes Red Bull.
Oh, yeah. So that was really the biggest moment, is I flew out to LA. I was staying at the Gamer Shore House, which was Jericho, Syndicate, and Gold Glove. And I was going out there to sign a contract with Red Bull, part of their athlete program, because I grew up watching Walsh. He was sponsored by Red Bull, and to me that seemed like the coolest thing ever. Same. And I sent them a DM when I was still living at my parents' house, like a year prior, like, hey, I'm really interested in Red Bull and working with you guys. Do you have any plans of getting in Call of Duty? That's when I met a guy named Sam Keen, who's still friends with to this day, great guy. Yeah. And they flew me out later that year, 2012, signed the contract, and when I got back, that's when Black Ops 2 and Livestream, it seemed as if every day after I returned from LA with the Red Bull hat on, it was 1,000 viewers, 2,000 viewers, 3,000 viewers, just climbing and climbing and climbing. That was when I caught my break.
Yeah. All right, so walk me through your decision to, one, retire, and then ultimately leave Optic.
Yeah, I was going back and forth to LA, and Fwiz, who's the head of gaming at YouTube, who you and I are both really, really close with, one of our best friends, he was always convincing me, or trying to convince me, to spend some time in LA, just to broaden my horizons, try something new. So yeah, I mean, look, dude, when you think you're like in love and it kind of clouds your judgment, and all I want to do is get out to LA and start that next chapter of my life. But it came with a heavy heart because I didn't want to leave Optic or the house because I was having so much fun. I have a hard time actually putting myself back in my shoes that I was in then. Yeah. Because
you're not the same person.
Yeah, I'm not the same person, and I would probably do it again. But I'm upset that I cut off that part of my life so soon. Because I love the Optic House, and I love living around you and hanging out, and I thought that's what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. I thought we had something special that nothing could ever alter, and we were going to take over the world of gaming. And Optic has done it respectively. I'm trying to do it with 100 Thieves. But yeah, I definitely have regrets of leaving at that time in my life when I did. Yeah. Because I moved out to LA, started living on my own, and felt like I was on an island. I mean, I was in a house living with all my best friends. Yeah. And now I'm in LA alone, trying to find my way.
You know what's crazy is that back when you were still back in Chicago with us, you brought up the whole streetwear thing to me. So walk me through your decision to finally pull the trigger on doing something that you had been talking about for years.
I was sitting on my couch, depressed as just watching like reruns of Friends for the first time. I'm not even kidding, man. It was a really dark point in my life just because I wasn't happy with what I was doing, and I just felt isolated even though I had friends around me. And so I was trying to come up with something that I could get excited about again, and I've always wanted to start an apparel brand. And even then, I don't even think I knew what my style was or what my style would turn into, but I knew that if I created something that I really loved, everything else would follow. Yeah. So I was just trying to come up with words that play on each other that sound really cool. Yeah. If I'm being totally candid, that's really all it was. Like, Thieves popped up into my head. I don't remember why, but I always thought the idea, maybe I was playing Skyrim a lot. I don't know. Thieves Guild. Thieves. Like, Thieves by itself, definitely can't get the trademark for that. It wouldn't be that original. Like, how can I add something on top to make it sound fun? And I've always been one that wanted to make money.
Of course.
So I always thought about, like, $100 bill is one thing that you hear everywhere. You see it everywhere, pop culture, hip-hop. So I was just like, man, this kind of rolls off the tongue, 100 Thieves. And I want to go back and get my old phone because I still have it.
Yeah.
Send in the first text about, hey, what do you think of this? 100 Thieves.
What did you send that text with?
I think I sent it to my ex-girlfriend at the time.
Yeah. First time that you're in the room with Dan Gilbert, what are your feelings?
Well, they flew me out to NBA Finals, and that was surreal. It was Cleveland versus the Warriors, and I went up to San Francisco, and I sat in this room with Dan in a boardroom at the hotel the team was staying at, so I was seeing all the players walking around. Dan had like 4 people on his side, opening doors for him. He just looked like money.
Yeah.
And we started going through the pitch, started talking about it. And to be honest with you, I was nervous at first, but then once we started talking about gaming, it's my wheelhouse. So I was just firing from all cylinders. Connections were being made in my mind. It was somehow limitless. Bradley Cooper, except I didn't look as good. So I started pitching 100 Thieves off this deck that Blake masterfully built. And he sat there with me for an hour. And Blake actually told me he never really sits in a room with anybody longer than 30 minutes. And he got on a helicopter directly after and went and had dinner with Steve Jobs' wife.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so Dan Gilbert makes this massive investment. How does the Drake situation happen? Obviously with Scooter Braun. Such a good name. Good basketball player right here.
Scooter's a legend. Man, that story's funny. So I get introduced to Scooter by this random dude who was working in venture, who basically said, yeah, I know Scooter really well. You guys should come take a meeting. And this was when we were raising our Series A. So Dan Gilbert did our seed series of Series A. We were trying to raise like $10 million. So this guy, after hearing our pitch, introduced us to Scooter. And he takes me to Scooter's office. And this dude's literally on the phone with Justin Bieber as I walk in. And talent managers, they speak a certain way, especially, I mean, if they're talking to their clients and if they're talking to anybody that they're trying to get a deal done for. I mean, block and tackle, that's what talent managers do. Obviously, Scooter is much more than that. He's a savvy investor, great guy. But at that time, that was my first initial reaction. He's yelling and I'm like, oh, goddamn. So I walk in there, and what I find out after the meeting, I'm not going to bore you guys with the details, but this was the worst meeting I ever took. I was sweating. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't know what to talk about. And what I find out is the guy that set it all up was trying to be like this grimy middleman. I don't know who he is to this day, so if he's super successful, please don't hate me, but that was just my perception of it.
Yeah.
Basically, he said he knew me really well to Scooter. He told Scooter that whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, playing them. And so it was the worst meeting I ever took. I'm like, yo, I don't think Scooter's the right fit. You know, I went back to John. I don't know if it makes sense. He was saying a lot of things. I don't think he really understood where I was coming from. So then I get a call from Scooter after we told him no. And I'm like, oh, I'm not answering this. I can't answer this. I hate confrontation. Scooter Braun, super successful. He calls like John's former boss. Gets on the phone with John and then gets me to take the call again. And I'm in the drive-thru with Jackson, who was one of the co-founders of 100 Thieves. And he apologized to me. He was like, hey, look, man, I didn't know what that situation was, or I had no context to what we were talking about. But as I sat down and learned more about your business with your partner, John, I'd really love to be a part of this. I promise you I can take care of you and open a lot of doors that you wouldn't be able to open without my help. And to this day, Scooter has been one of the biggest contributors to our success. Just great guy.
100%, man. That's so crazy.
And he introduced us to Drake, too.
Yeah,
the next day.
How did that happen?
We're finalizing the deal. He's like, yo, you know who would love this? I got a friend in hip-hop who would love this. I'm like, who's that? He's like, Drake. He calls up Drake's manager, Future, in the room with us, in our tiny 400-square-foot bedroom, which was our office for our leadership team.
It's on speakerphone, you hear,
we didn't have it on speaker. He's like, all right, you're going to come by tomorrow? The next day, Drake's manager, Future, was in our living room, and we pitched him on the business. And then a couple months later, we went and met Drake at his house, told him more about 100 Thieves, and it was a wrap.
Damn. That when you dropped that picture, I was just like, I mean, I knew about it already, but everyone's reaction was just like so iconic.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tough too because Drake was on tour at that time, so we took a lot of we tried really hard to get in front of him. I mean, he's busy. He doesn't know me that well. He just knows a little bit about the business. He loves gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you we were really close because we're not. You know, we've spoken over DMs a couple times over the years. But him and Future both still contributed from like a creative level. Our board meetings a year. But I was just honored and just over the moon with the fact that he fucked with 100 Thieves just a sliver, just enough to be like, all right, I'm gonna throw some cash at this. And it was a good amount of money, and I met with him twice. It was awesome, man.
That's so cool.
I'm like, it sucks too because I don't want to go out to be the guy and be like, yo, I'm your biggest fan.
Yeah.
But that dude got me through college,
How difficult
bro.
is that, right? Because obviously there's levels of success and levels of popularity, and obviously you have like a massive, fan base, but he's got a massive, massive fan base. So you don't want to approach a person that you admire and say, yo, I admire you. Because then you're uncool or you're...
Exactly. Because if somebody comes up to me and starts like, wide-eyed, drooling over me. I'm just, it's this weird psychology. I'm like, great to meet you, man, pleasure, and I'm on my way.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that. It was I was so nervous meeting him, and I don't even know if I was putting sentences together. And it's tough too, like I said, because his soundtrack reminds me of so many things.
Yeah.
His discography of me in high school, just struggling with shit, college, man. Yeah, bro, it got me through some time. So to finally meet this guy, have invested in a company, one of the best days of my life.
So tell me about 100 Thieves. What are you guys doing in the future? I mean, obviously don't tell me what you got, but what are some of the industry thoughts that you have about where your position is in this space?
Yeah, so I think what's really important for us is just to continue to push the boundaries of what it means to be an entertainment company in gaming. I feel as if there is a lot of narrow-mindedness in esports because if you do anything other than competition, which teams haven't traditionally done, or that's always what they've done, is just compete.
Yeah.
There's this negative connotation and stigma around your brand. And so people give us a hard time about slinging apparel and making videos with creators, but now everybody's trying to do it.
Yeah.
And obviously we started that with Optic, and FaZe Clan did it really, really well before too. So that was the model, like let's go do this as well as we can. And build something special.
What's worse about the space right now is that they get mad at you, at me, at FaZe, and they just get mad at the fact that they're not just a sports team. Everybody's out here trying to be the Cowboys, but nobody's thinking, I was like, I want to be the Cowboys, I want to be HBO, and I also want to be Supreme.
Yeah, you can't afford to be the Cowboys in esports. The business model doesn't work yet. I mean, I might one day, but I respect a lot of people that work in esports. I mean, I don't mean to sound like I'm on my high horse. I mean, you and I feel like with a lot of the teams that give us grief, besides maybe one or two outliers, they were really coming up on League of Legends and Counter-Strike where we came up in console and we were always doing content differently. And so I feel like us coming in, I hope they understand that the majority of people that I've seen or worked with, I do have respect for. But I'm proud of the business that we've built, and I'm never going to be apologetic for creating something that has become a really great business. I mean, we're going to be making some announcements that the industry is going to turn their head.
And you should be proud of that. More importantly, the time that somebody tells you that you're only hoodie and you haven't won any championships, remind them the amount of championships that you won at Optic.
Well, and then we won multiple championships.
That's what I'm saying.
We won 2 Call of Duty. We won multiple Fortnite tournaments. Might not count those or whatever the case may be. We won this Valorant tournament, First Strike, a major right there. We've only been around for 4 years. We're not even 4. We were 3 years in 4 months. And people are talking about, why have you won a championship? You know how hard it is to win in League of Legends when I got these teams spending 8 on a roster in a year? Bro, they can't. That's a buy. Like, what do you want from? What do you want? I feel like Ryan Gosling in The Notebook. I hope it's going because you guys don't understand. You don't understand.
Be made. They're playing the wrong game because people's money, and it's so easy. But when you're the one putting your ass on the line with all that cash, investing your personal $300,000 into your team that isn't even a team, where's the respect?
Yeah, bro.
Where is the respect? You know what? On that, I think that is the perfect place to end it. I want to thank you
for... Well, now these motherfuckers... I'm sorry. These people are going to hate us even more, dude. We just sound like we're in our own little echo chamber.
Good.
I'd like to say, if this part still makes it in, I have a ton of respect for teams, but I am jaded in a sense with just the things people say and the perspective that they have of what we're doing. I mean, these teams that will come spew out ignorance on their timelines about what our business is, they should be excited that there's another team that's coming in and reinventing and creating new revenue streams for
them.
teams.
For them to take a guide off of.
The first team that exits in a big public way, it's a trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
I want FaZe to be worth $1 billion. I want Optic to be worth $1 billion. I want Team Liquid G2. I hope one of y'all sells for $1 billion. Please! No,
that's so
I'm
good.
begging y'all, man.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, I hate when you sort of have to feel like you have to explain yourself to anyone. You literally have a good model. What we started back in 2013 has resonated throughout this entire history. So when you come into the space, a decade after some of these teams, knowing what you know and how to build a team, dude, why do you even care? Like, you have like one of the coolest brands.
Well, I don't care about it on a day-to-day. I mean, you don't see me popping off on Twitter. No. But when we start talking about it as close friends, like that shit's that bothers me, but I don't think about it often.
Nah, good. That's gonna do for this episode of Origin Stories. My guest today, obviously, Mr.
You think
Matt
I can get the water out of my mouth all the way from up here?
No, you cannot, and I wouldn't try it. Actually, let's see it. Do it for the.
Well, I don't want to f up their set.
Yeah, you're good. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, delete that. Get something better. Oh my god. Yes. No. Weighted nade shots. No,
Wait, explain it?
We'll take a camera right here. So we're going to use this camera right here.
Okay.
Hat on, hat off, whatever you prefer.
Bro, Bill's always slacking. He doesn't do anything. He ain't doing shit, man. Excuse me?
Oh, yo.
No. Oh, don't move.
And that was a very exciting and lovely interview with Hex and Nadeshot, and there was so much I wanted to say, and then it ended with a skunk and a cat fighting there.
Yeah, they said in our ear, this video ends with a skunk and a cat fighting, and I was like, that can't be right. And then there it was.
Yeah.
There it was, VENN.
I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, are they going to both get into furry costumes, and we're going to see like a fight that? And then, no, it was just in the alley, so there you go. You don't see that every day, that's for sure. But anyway, you know, you and Golden Boy have been working in the bomber jacket look, and I was like, I need to get in on that, man. Like, come on.
We just heard from Nadeshot himself about establishing a brand, being more than just an esports team, right?
100%.
So there you go. Go be part of the E3 esports team, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you can go to e3expo.com/shop and get all your E3 merch.
I'd also like to say, as a woman who is 6'2", and Greg Miller can probably appreciate this as well.
Sure.
Sleeve length.
Yeah, that's good.
Fantastic, folks. Usually when I put on a jacket, it's like up to here, but this is actually pretty good.
There you go, look at that.
Okay, so it's made for tall people as well. And
sorry, Golden Boy. They'll make a kid's version one day.
Oh, be nice to him. But at least he can wear the dad's hat. Yeah.
He does like the dad hat. He can wear the dad
like
hat.
throw that on the ground over there. But we do have some great merch. So again, e3expo.com/shop. I was like, oh my God, help me out if I don't say it right. Anyway, again, that was a really great inside look at Nadeshot and
100%.
Hex. Yeah.
If I can, like, you know, as somebody who interviews people all the time, and I know you do too, in a longer form podcast interview, I was surprised at how candid that was, how insightful it was. Like, I know about 100 Thieves because so many of our ex-IGN colleagues have called it 100 Thieves, but I don't know much about Nadeshot. So to hear that, first off, I didn't realize he's a suburb of the Chicago kid, just like myself. DuPage County, Glen Ellen represent. But on top of that, you know, his journey, right? I mean, talking about having to take testosterone shots.
I know,
so
super
open.
candid.
Talking about being depressed, right? Leaving his team before he started 100 Thieves. Like, that's all a fascinating journey. And it's, you know, as you continue to see 100 Thieves blow up, that's awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely just loved how candid they were with each other. They're obviously, like, very close friends. And I think Hex said at the beginning, like, I've interviewed you so many times, I don't even know what to say to you right right now? And then he's like, what are 3 ways that you would describe yourself? What are 3 ways you describe 100 Thieves? They were just having a good time, so super fun. But anyways, so games have changed so much over the years by becoming more inclusive and representative of their player bases, but there's still more work to be done in this space. Let's discuss how we can make games more inclusive.
Okay.
Yay!
I think that representation is really one of the biggest things that the gaming industry needs to tackle.
The more diversity we have in the industry, the more voices we have, and that is how you grow something.
There's no one type of gamer. There's no one type of gamer that looks the same either.
Bringing in people from different backgrounds makes the place generally more interesting.
Like I have no problem like stepping into the shoes of, you know, of Nathan Drake or like some other like, you know, white male protagonist. But, you know, just realizing eventually like, wait a minute, nobody's being asked to step into my shoes. What's up with that?
I want you to be able, when you pick up most games, that you see yourself in some way in those games.
The areas that you don't hear about gaming in which Black people are working, I think advocating for their visibility and bringing them up is very, very key as well.
When you're developing the game and they're like, okay, we can start adding this Black representation, this, you know, brown representation into the game from the ground up, and then, I mean, that alleviates the problem.
This is where we need to have programs in place to allow more women, more people of color to have a transition into this space and an opportunity to work their way up the ladder like everyone else.
It's going to make a huge difference on how your games are created. The diversity in the space helps everyone, I promise, I promise, I promise.
And I also think that some of it falls on consumers as well, and us and gamers in supporting these games, and supporting games that are positively showing diversity in our community and representing the gaming community.
Female gamers make up 48%, and you wouldn't even know it by looking from the outside in. So that's what I would want to change.
The next era of gaming is just going to be so sweet, and I am super excited about it. We are definitely heading in that direction, but I can't wait until everyone is part of it and everyone has great ideas and everyone just feels like they belong in the community, and it's just going to be a great time when that happens.
All right, well, next up, we're going to be talking about Freedom Games. Before, I get into the whole production bit, I just want to say, one, follow Freedom Games on Twitter. Just did that. Also, this next game, follow them on Twitter, too. They seem like incredible people. Because here's the deal. They want you to believe, Freedom Games, that in 2021, farming is fun, especially when the livestock are robot chickens and cows, and the crops are gene spliced with alien freaking material. So the question is, do you have what it takes to build a thriving farm on an alien planet? Here's one lonely outpost so you can see for yourself.
IGN Summer of Gaming has officially partnered with the ESA for E3 2021. IGN Summer of Gaming is now all summer long. From major press conferences and announcements at E3 2021 to the IGN Expo with exclusive gameplay and reveals to exciting first looks at the hottest new games and in-depth developer interviews, IGN Summer of Gaming has it all. IGN Summer of Gaming begins right now.
Crazy to think about it now, like a dream dinner after we've all sort of been stuck inside for so long. I'd stack the deck with a few friends of my golden boy. I mean, I just, yeah, would have to have him at the table.
I'd probably invite Pokimane.
Valkyrie, just because she's a boss.
Pokimane and Valkyrie, two amazing women that have done so much for the industry and so much for women.
But I gotta bring all the voice actors from my favorite video games. Boy. The dude who says boy and the kid who plays the boy.
How could you not invite Keanu Reeves?
Vin Diesel or Henry Cavill.
Little Richard, if we could get him back.
Megan Thee Stallion, T-Pain. You know, some celebrity gamers on there too, you know, to just spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, I say Michael Jordan. Bring him in. You know, I don't know if he likes this kind of stuff, but we'll get him there.
I'd have to stack up with a few of our most out there visionaries, right?
Todd Howard, Jade Raymond,
Cory Barlog, Major Nelson,
Amy Hennig,
Ed Boon,
Neil Druckmann.
Kojima would be at the table.
Have to invite Hideo Kojima.
He's always posting really awesome meals on social media.
Does he use his fork in the left hand or the right hand, or actually does he use his telekinesis to just magic the food into his mouth? You know what I mean?
My ideal dinner at E3 would just be a one-on-one sit down with Ken Levine.
Bioshock Infinite is one of my favorite games of all time, so I would love to talk to him about it.
And I just want to know what he's doing now.
I would bring the entirety of Nintendo.
Oh man, Miyamoto-san, I would say.
Miyamoto's there. He's eating a lot of popcorn chicken.
I think Reggie.
You don't even work in Nintendo anymore, and I got to bring Reggie.
I think his entire story is phenomenal.
You know when you see CEOs and you're like, you look a little stiff, right? No, I feel like he would be a good person to have a beer with.
Of course, there are so many luminaries in the games industry that I want to meet, but like, I want to party with QA.
I'd actually extend that to everyone.
No, I would bring everybody. This is for us. We're all eating from the gaming entree that is E3. So yeah, you're all invited to my dinner. If y'all can afford $75,000 a plate.
I think it's safe to say that we would all like to have a lunch or a dinner with Miyamoto and pick his brain about video games. How incredible would that be? But folks, you know, in the games that we love, our favorite characters are brought to life by real people using real motivation to give us a realistic look at the story. And while some of the faces of gaming voiceover are relatively unknown, their resumes and body of work over time speak for themselves. So our Voices of E3 panel will discuss the life of a real-life voice actor in a virtual world.
And here we are for the Wonder Women and Gaming panel with some incredible women in the industry. I'm so excited to be moderating this. I'm so excited to call most of them friends, all of them friends, right? Some of us are newer friends, but we're all friends.
Which one of us isn't a friend? I'm
I know.
who didn't
make the cut, y'all? Who did not make the cut? You're all friends. We're all friends. All right, let me jump in because we have a lot to talk about, and I'm so excited to pick all your brains and get us flowing and get us moving. So let me introduce the wonderful women of this panel. Oh, I guess I should say what my name is. I'm Kritzia Bajos. I'm also a voice actress, on-camera actress. Yes, part of What the Box with these wonderful women. But enough about me. Let's get to the women here in the panel. We've got Courtney Taylor Callie-Born, most famous for Jack in Mass Effect, Ada Wong in Resident Evil, Soul Survivor for Fallout 4, passionate about activism. She co-founded the online community of Nerds Vote. Amazing badass all around. Love you, Courtney Taylor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Anjali Bhamani. I have to say specifically, she is known as the international superstar Anjali.
Goodness.
Well, you know, that's what was requested.
It's a super spy.
Sorry, super spy. So even better.
But I'll take superstar. I mean, either way.
Superstar, super spy.
It's kind of both.
Why can't we
Yeah.
Sure. She's graced the stages of Broadway, has illuminated your televisions in shows like Modern Family, Marvel's Runaways, Grace and Frankie, and one of my favorite shows of all time, probably the best show, arguably for me, is The Sopranos, among many, many, many others. In gaming, she's most known as Symmetra in Overwatch and Rampart in Apex Legends. Anjali, hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
And we're moving over to multilingual, 5 languages, y'all. Carolina Rabasa, Colombiana. 4. I saw 5, a little bit of French. Don't humble yourself.
Oh, I make it up. Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Colombiana dancer, actor for screen and games, most known for her roles in Overwatch as Sombra, Raze in Valorant, and many recurring characters for Victor and Valentino, among many other shows. Guys, the lists are too long here. I'm just giving you guys some nice spicy tidbits here. But Carolina Rabasa, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And Jennifer Hale, actor, singer, Matrix revealer, podcast host, passionate advocate for financial freedom, Guinness World Record holder for her incredible resume of video games, including Femme Chef in Mass Effect. It gives me goosebumps even just saying Femme Chef. I still, and I'll talk to you about that Twitter post that I love so much. And Ash from Overwatch, among a ridiculous amount of others, y'all. Jennifer Hale. Woot! That was really well.
I know, we were all ready for that.
And you closed right at the perfect time. I feel like a maestro. Maestro. Okay, Wonder Woman and voice gaming. Here we go. Let's talk about the stuff that we've been seeing. It's 2021, y'all. Lots of changes have been happening. Obviously, we've had a bit of a Paramount year last year with a lot of stuff happening and changed a lot of the landscape, just a tiny tad bit. So, you know, our industry especially has been at the forefront of, you know, we've gotten a lot of stuff done. Gaming has not stopped. In fact, it's sped through these years and become bigger than it already was. So with that being said, I want to ask you all, what recent changes in this industry industry are you happy about so far? And what would you like to see about what happens in the future? What are you pleased about the changes that you've seen most recently, and what would you like to see more of moving forward?
Representation. Yeah, super happy with the levels of representation I'm seeing out there, and I want more of it. And more access, you know, just a wider playing field.
I mean, I think it's been so important to see all people represented. I love that, you know, casting is really going in the direction of getting the people who are actually the ones, you know, getting the LGBT community to tell their stories, you know, to get, when I started, you know, there was a lot of really bad accents because there wasn't a huge pool of us to choose from. And now it's great to both, I think, from an acting perspective and also a directing perspective, that you're getting people who it is their stories to tell. It is their, you know, mother tongue or their mother countries. And so they have, you know, these deep roots. And as actors, we're not worrying about, you know, maybe necessarily falling out of an accent that we don't really do.
I think to piggyback on that, for me, the it's not just the representation, which is exciting in and of itself. The particular stories that are being told are so much more complex and have been over the last few years, that it's no longer all about any one characteristic of someone being the entire focus of their story. It's no longer about the particular culture or about the particular gender or about the particular sexual orientation. Everybody is a sum of these incredibly unique parts that make their story interesting. And so it's become even more inclusive than representative, because everybody can find a hero or a story that they can identify with on some level. It doesn't have to be necessarily, oh, she looks exactly like me, or she comes from my culture, or anything like that, so much as it can be any number of things. It can be emotional complexity. It can be particular plot points. It can be all sorts of things. I think the storytelling has really advanced tremendously. And you know, games are now epic, long movies that the player gets to be a part of.
I love this. Yeah, it is a very exciting time in gaming. Gato, did you have anything to add, or?
No, I feel like they've hit it all.
Yeah.
Well, there's one other thing though, too, that I'm really excited about, is that we're also starting to get scripts in advance from time to time.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, we're doing less what I call the standing long jump, where you just drop in and jump as far as you can. So that's really exciting. I feel like we're starting to, you know, be able to make, as voice actors, we don't get the rehearsal time, we don't get the collaboration time, you know, that you might get working on a play or, you know, starting up a television show, things like that. And I'm just so excited to be able to have some time with the script to be able to make, you know, deep decisions on who the character is. And I'm really thrilled that there's the value of that is starting to be recognized.
I feel like also the relationship between the actors and the developers has become closer in recent years. Like, I've definitely had more experiences where there is an active conversation going on, and and that the voice directors in sessions are so giving and so excited to try to really connect and figure out what the best way to pull the story out of a person is, rather than something that is prescriptive, or like you say, standing long jump situation where it's like, just go, give me 3 and go. And that's the fun part of this, is that collaboration where we're all getting to be a part of it, and that we're all cogs in the whole wheel together, rather than completely separate.
Yeah. And sometimes they even let us go to the companies, and we get to see people in their natural habitat doing the work, which is so incredible, because the more that I feel like I can talk about the process that goes on behind it, you know, and give the love to the developers, the, you know, the painters, the people who are like, not just the writers that we come into contact with, but the people who are doing all of the beautiful visuals and the music, the composing, I mean, the sound design, all that kind of stuff. I've only recently gotten to do that, and it has enriched my whole understanding of the process for everyone, as well as being able to speak more knowledgeably about it and talk about how great these things are that everybody's putting all this blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
All these blood, sweat, and tears.
Connected to what Andre was saying about like getting to talk to the developers or them caring to represent us properly. I think that sure, there were a lot of Latinos in video games, but they were always the drug dealers and the illegal immigrants. And, you know, we auditioned for the prostitutes and the wives or the mobster wives. And, you know, that I think that now it's not that there is more representation and that we are being, they are casting appropriately, but that they care to really do their research and do a positive portrayal of it. And I'm working on a video game now where I play a character of Hispanic descent, and they've cared to ask questions about my personal experience so that it is more specific and it isn't just like, well, they kind of are all the same when we're like 26 different countries in Central and South America. So, you know,
Or also, you know, there was a time, and it still happens occasionally, I'm sad to say, but there was a time when they would just assume, oh, you're Indian, you know all the Indian things and all the Indian languages. And I'm like, let's have a moment about that, because that's not true. I speak Spanish better than any of those. So so now they're actually bringing people, bringing in experts to be the experts so that we can do the job that we were asked to do.
You know what? I have a question for Jennifer. There was in the beginning of, was it this year, this past, or 2020? But you had the reaction on Twitter to the trailer, right? And I heard in another interview that you were unsure to record your very real and authentic reaction and post it on Twitter. It's been a very long road, and I think it was absolutely valid. But why do you feel that you were hesitant in that space, in that moment?
Oh my God. Well, it was a super personal thing, and I was ugly crying like a baby. So that gave me a little hesitation. But, you know, I mean, what happened, I didn't expect it. It completely took me by surprise. And I didn't even really understand why I had the reaction I had until somebody on Twitter pointed out, they were like, this is what representation looks like. And I went, oh my God. Oh my God. Like I've been in this business for a while, and I've conditioned myself to accept a certain status quo and not to expect much outside of that, because to do so is to create an enormous amount of frustration and discontent, and those aren't productive states for me. So I've just put a cap on all of that. And it's like when all the things I really wanted to see happened that I never expected to happen, just number one, being seen, being represented, because all the marketing materials, almost all of them early on in the life of Mass Effect were brochette. You know, there was a little bit of femshep, but it was not much until like when Mass Effect 3 came out and femshep was on the box. That was just like a huge moment. I was just over the moon with that. I stood on a table at a GameStop at midnight and called out Casey Hudson, thanking him, and he was mortified. But it was. So when I saw that, yeah, something in my gut went, share this. And I was like, what? But I listened to my gut. I don't argue with it. But I was like, oh my God. And I took my phone. I was like, okay, I'm going to share. This is my response. And this thing happened. And I think I'm glad I did, because, you know, it certainly gave permission for other people to ugly cry if they need to. And also, it seemed to have touched a chord, which I'm happy about. That's cool. Yeah.
I feel like that was a good Wonder Woman moment for you. You know, I feel like we're told, oh, don't show too emotion. I mean, I know we're getting a little bit more open with all of that stuff, but I thought that was a beautiful moment of like, hey, if I were a guy, would I hesitate on saying exactly how I feel or the moments that are coming up? This, I don't know, maybe depends on the person. But
you know, and also I think it yeah, and it opened up like I have to live in a certain amount of denial as a woman in the industry, who's been in the industry for a long time. I've been in this business since I was a teenager. And there's all kinds of conduct that I have just shoved under the table, just smiled through. And because you do, you know, if you want to keep working, you're good to work with. End of conversation. And, you know, nothing too crazy. You can smart enough to get yourself out of those situations. But to now be living at a time where it's different, oh, it's amazing.
I feel like that was a great moment of that. Everything you were saying, it did feel like a capping, like just your cup runneth over. You're like, everything that I've been holding on to, all the drops of water for over 2 decades, it's like, and I'm done.
Oh no, they're still here. There's more.
They're still here. There's more. Maybe we've lowered the cup a little bit. We've got a little bit more to fill.
Oh, substantial. You know, just because here's what I know. Like, you know, and part of why we are the collective that we are is to shed more light on voice actors, you know, on women in gaming, on underrepresented peoples and inclusion. And I know that there's going to come a time in the not too distant future when voice actors are seen. And voice actors are respected not just by fans, but by corporations as well. I know it's going to come. I may or may not be here to see it. But I will always own my piece of getting there. Always.
Yeah. Yep. Moment, please.
And we see it. I'm not a gamer, but I see the response female gamers have when they come up to us and thank us and tell them they tell us how those characters have affected them. And so you've seen it from the inside gen, and I'm seeing it from the ones who play and go, I've tried to play for years, and all I have are male characters that I can play that I don't resonate with, and now they get it and they thank us for it. And I didn't create these characters, but we infuse them with life, and we see it with the gamers.
I know I have to tie this up, so I'm going to do a really quick lightning round. You all have given some gems, and I so appreciate your time and all of your super thoughtful answers and your energy. So I'm going to do a really quick lightning round in one sentence. Tell me, oh, Anj, you don't have to be so scared.
I'm always scared. I'm just kidding.
Wonder Women in voice acting or in gaming mean to you? Wonder Women in gaming. What does that mean to you? One sentence. How do we culminate that? Courtney.
Me first. No, I'm ready. I'm ready. Here I go. It means being the pillar of support that everyone needs in the community. It means a rising tide, lifting all boats, helping other women in this business, but also just helping everyone and being an example of what collaboration can look like.
What she said. Can I just say that?
In your own way?
Very similarly. Climbing up the ladder, there is no ceiling. And reaching back down and pulling people up along with you to tell new and exciting stories and to collaborate as much as possible, you know, bringing the collaboration together more and more and more, I think is the big thing. That wasn't a really good grammatical sentence.
No, but you know what, the feeling is all there, and that's what matters. I feel it here. Got it.
It means women that are so incredibly different. It means these characters that can be moms, these characters that can be nurses, these characters that they're not just sexy ladies running around with guns being badasses. We're all badasses in such a different way, and it can be soft, and it can be nurturing, and it can be sensual, and it can be all of the things. So like encompassing this idea that it is way bigger than we can imagine.
Oh, I love it. Jennifer, close us out.
All right. What the Vox, Wonder Women in Gaming. Because we're here because it's time to change the world. We're linking arms because all boats rise together. No grand act of the universe is coming to do this for us. We are the ones we've been waiting for, and we're here and ready.
Got chills? Anybody else got chills from that lightning round? Thank you. Thank you so very much. And I can't.
Thank you.
My pleasure. This has been a joy, an absolute joy. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you to E3. Thank you for everybody else. Amber, Chris, Brian, for making this happen today. Yes, thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day, y'all. Wonder Woman in Gaming. Out. Through it.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Jennifer Hale, why do you insist on making me tear up all the time? God dang it, man.
Yeah.
Jennifer is saying, you know, she's contributed. She might not see us get. You're gonna see us get there to equality and all the things that you want, Jennifer. I mean, geez, Louise.
Yeah,
voice
great.
acting. Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly. Jennifer Hale, of course, FemShep. Right now, Rivet and Ratchet and Clank just crushing it as she does, and so do the rest of the panel, Courtney and everybody else. But Jennifer was on We Have Cool Friends over at Kind of Funny just this past pandemic, whenever the year was. I can't keep track.
I know,
and
right?
of course, like I've interviewed her so many times throughout my career, and she never fails to be such a source of inspiration. Her story and what she does. I think part of that, of course, is tied to how much the characters, these voice actors, you know, play and how much those characters mean to us, Jackie.
Yeah, honestly, that was a really moving panel. You know, earlier we were talking about toxicity, and it's the internet, folks. Like, we see that negativity out there. But just hearing these women come together and talk about representation, talk about inclusion, and I think that last question there was Wonder Woman in gaming or something like that. That was really fun. Yeah. And I think Courtney said something about, you know, being a pillar of support and uplifting each other. And I think that you were kind of touching on this earlier, but it's not just not being mean and not being bad. It's about being good and being loving as well. Actually, like, calling out negativity and being like, hey, can we be more positive here? Can we be more loving here? And being supportive of each other. Yeah. I think, like, all of us can say that when you are hosting something, you feed on energy right away, right? And immediately I met both of you, and you're just both so loving and kind, and, you know, we were a team.
It's a way to explain
feel
what
that
we're
support.
saying, you know?
Well, a little bit of animosity here. No, I'm kidding, not at all. Really, really great vibes. But for me, it was just like, you have a choice, right? Like, you can be negative or you can be positive. And they were like, hey, like, let's support each other. Let's be good to each other. Let's be loving to each other. So no more fighting, you two.
Oh, no, that's definitely going to happen.
We fight the WWE way.
In the WWE way. In the WWE way. We put each other over, you know, bury sometime. It's okay. But, you know, one thing I do just want to highlight.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I almost fall over. I was like, Brad, we might have a problem. I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry.
Well, you could use me as leverage. But something that I am just so happy to see is how much voice acting has taken such a role, like a center stage role, as it should have, you know? Because there was like a point in time where, especially like animes and stuff, like you didn't know, like they didn't get credit to the voice actors. But now, like, voice acting, it's emerged in such a way where there's, you know, it's just top to bottom, man. Hey, Jennifer Hale, you took the Jennifer Hale gush session, so I do appreciate that. She's incredible. But yeah, it's wild to see how much this has improved and how it's only going to get better from here. The acting, the quality, the bar is being set so high for future generations to come.
100%, yeah, and I think that starts with game developers being able to take their craft seriously, be able to make compelling stories, then be able to cast compelling actors to be compelling characters. I mean, you look back to everything Naughty Dog's done, the original version of Telltale, Walking Dead, and the way you saw Dave Fennoy flock to that, right? I mean, you've seen people like Ashley Johnson become stars as voiceover artists, and now artists, actors, right? And don't even be started on Troy Baker.
Oh yeah, Troy Baker doesn't deserve more love.
Outside of voice acting, of course, music is an important part of the games we love, creating intensity, drama, or even just a theme song you'll hum for the rest of your life. Thank you, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. So, who better to talk about music and gaming than the hosts of Rolling Stone on Twitch, Tia and John?
Hey everyone, I'm Tia Hill.
And I'm John Weigel, and we're the hosts of Rolling Stone on Twitch.
Yes, and welcome back to E3 2021. We're so happy that E3 is back this year, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
That's right, and you can see us anytime you want, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on weekdays, Monday through Friday, where we talk about music news, have live performances, and have very special guests come in pretty much every day of the week.
Exactly, so definitely make sure you follow us on Rolling Stone on Twitch. And right now, we're going to do one of our favorite segments that we call a Dream Mixtape. So this is a segment, usually we have a guest come in, we give them about 10 different prompts, and then we put together a playlist that's available on our Spotify based on these prompts. But this is a very special Dream Mixtape in honor of E3 coming back, and we're doing a Dream video game mixtape.
That's right. If our channel was a video game, these are the songs that we feel would be the soundtrack to our video game.
Yes.
That we're currently in.
Exactly. And this would be the cover of the video game. If our channel were a video game, it is a drawing of John and I that we had on the channel.
It's a beautiful drawing. It is done by Ross Tran from Ross Draws on YouTube. He did a great job. He made us our different characters. He made Tia kind of this hacker kind of persona, and me this big old meathead with an axe or a guitar axe. So it's looking great, and that would be the cover of our video game.
Exactly.
If we had one, which we do now, theoretically.
Exactly. Well, we have the soundtrack for one, at the very least. So starting off with the first track in the video game, probably the most important thing, because it's the first thing you hear, the title screen.
Right. Right. This is like, you know, of course, when you start the game, like, you know, the Halo starting screen where you see all those ships flying everywhere and you hear
Exactly.
That is kind of like what we're going for here. Maybe not the exact same song.
Yes.
But Tia, what song did you select for our title screen / press start screen?
So I picked Miss the Rage by Trippie Redd and Playboi Carti. Not only am I a huge Playboi Carti fan, but also this song, if you listen to it, the instrumental on this is really, really wild in terms of it's very electronic sounding. It feels like you're kind of in outer space or you're being transported through something, and I feel like that's the vibe that I wanted to bring to whatever this video game that we're making is. So I feel like this really captured something that would feel like you're being jetted into a video game universe. So I had to pick Miss the Rage.
Yeah, I think it's a great selection. It's very gamey, and you know, Tia, you've been going on for months to me about how you really, really like the instrumental for this track and have even just been bumping the regular instrumental. So I think that it would be a great fit. It's also very, again, very video gamey, very kind of synth driven, has that vibe to it. So I really dig that.
Thank you. I'm glad that you like that one.
Yes. So, okay, now we're going to move on to the next one. And this one is a choose your character screen. And we've definitely all been there. I feel like I spend a lot of time in the character selection bay in like a Mortal Kombat.
I really like to take my time. And when I'm thinking specifically about time, I take my time. If I'm ever playing The Sims, you know I love The Sims, I will spend a good hour making my character.
That's like me in Super Smash Brothers. First of all, I can never pick the character because there are just too many now. There's just so many. And then when I'm going through to pick every one of them, I finally pick like freaking Captain Falcon like always. But then I'm like, okay, like let me like make him pink. So that takes an extra few minutes.
Exactly. Then when you're playing with other people, they're like, come on.
But anyways, what song, Tia, did you select for a choose your character screen?
I picked Tierra Whack Cable Guy because, like you were saying, it's you take your time and you're picking your character, and so this is a song that the song itself is only a minute long, but it's something that if you were to loop it over and over again, it's very unobtrusive. It's really smooth. It's really nice, and it calms you down enough so while you're making that, you know, important choice of which character you're trying to get, you're calm with the music in the background. So I thought this was a nice choice.
This the title of the song really makes me believe that Larry the Cable Guy would be a selectable character in whatever game that we're having.
Exactly.
Which would be very interesting.
Exactly. So what do we have next? The starting town.
Yes.
This is important.
Where you begin your journey.
Exactly. And this makes me think of Link again, my favorite.
Yes.
Or you know, when you're playing Zelda and he's just like running around the town.
Oh,
and you're just
yeah.
like getting your bearings in any video game. Just in
you're meeting
general.
up with the Koroks, you're having a good time.
Talking to the NPCs.
Talking to the NPCs.
Figuring out what's going on.
Trying to break some barrels for some rupees, for some sweet, sweet green rupees.
Exactly.
This is the song that you want to hear in your starting town. This was my selection.
Yes. So what did you pick here?
So I selected, this is Old Town Road by Lil Nas X. I feel like some people know this song out there, maybe just a few.
It's not that big though.
But specifically, when you take this song for a starting town, what I want it to do is loop. So you know that part in the song where it's just the chorus. It's like, take my horse and the whole time I want to ride when I can no more. I want no verses. I want just a loop of that single chorus over and over and over again until the user gets super like annoyed and tries to leave town.
And tries to leave. That's exactly what you need to keep moving on through the rest of the video game. So honestly, that's a good choice.
And that's how I kick you out of town. That's how I kick you out of town. But the thing is, there are more Easter eggs that populate in the first town later in the game, so you got to go back. So you got to use your time real wisely.
That's how you get them. Is it the regular Old Town Road? It's not any kind of remix, right?
No, it's the regular Old Town Road. We're talking no Billy Ray Cyrus on the track, just Lil Nas X in his olden days on the Old Town Road with you.
Good, good choice. Next, we have the loading screen. This is another one where I feel like it needs to be something relatively calm.
I felt that for the loading screen, this is the only track in this entire listing that I picked out from an actual video game.
Oh, yes.
This is from Celeste, the original soundtrack. It's called First Steps. It is, I believe, the second track off of the soundtrack. Celeste is a video game, and it's kind of like an 8-bit style song. It's very like 1980s old style video game vibe.
That's perfect.
And that's what I really love about it. And I feel like for a loading screen in specific, it would work perfectly because you're waiting and you're hearing just a beautiful kind of, 8-bit lullaby tune to help you wait
and then it makes you not irritated when things aren't loading at the appropriate time. So that's perfect.
Exactly.
You needed something calm. That's nice. I like that. Well, next we have the in-game world music, which is really honestly some of the most important music, because this is what you're going to be listening to probably the most throughout the entire game.
Most of the time. If you've been like in a lot of games too, there is a song. Sometimes songs vary by level in a lot of video games, but there are some games that a song persists through the entire game. And if it's going to be that way, like we're going to have it right now, it's got to be good. It's got to be something that I'm going to want to listen to and not mute my TV and turn on something else in the background.
Very, very real. That is very, very real, which is why I chose a Glass Animals track, Tangerine. I feel like this song is so, well, first off, we had Dave Bailey from Glass Animals come on the show a few weeks back, but also this song is super immersive. This is from their album Dreamland, and a big thing that they wanted to do was make it feel like you're in a dream. So all of the songs really sound like you're being dropped into this world that they've created. And if you listen to Tangerine specifically, there are all these little sounds. There's like laughter in the background and all these different sound effects, which kind of remind me of when you're playing a video game and you just hear, like, you know, the pitter patter of the footsteps,
indistinct chatter in the background and things like that.
And just things that really build the world and bring it to life and make you want to kind of live in that video game. So I felt like this was a good choice for something like that.
And I feel like the Dreamland idea really fits with the kind of aesthetic that we're building out for this game. Very like spacey 1980s Dreamland-esque. Like I remember I used to play on my Game Boy Advance Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland.
Oh my goodness.
Which is probably one of my favorite mobile games that I've ever had in my entire life. And that is like a perfect fit for this.
Oh, that
very
would be
dreamy,
perfect.
very all of those wonderful stars
That
and
is a
clouds.
great one. Well, getting more intense after you've explored the whole world and you get to the final boss battle.
That is right. The final battle of the game.
Exactly. Here is our boss for our channel's video game, our super producer and moderator, Chris.
He is our final boss battle every day.
Exactly.
Look at him spin.
Exactly.
Look
at that.
Look at him rotate.
And I believe this was your choice, John. What did you pick?
That's right. So I figured for a final boss battle, you need a big epic feel. You need there to be a lot of different instrumentation. You need there to be an orchestra. You need guitars, distorted guitars. So I picked a band that I really love called Born of Osiris. The song is called The Machine. It is a great track, very epic feeling at the end of a game when you're about to win the game, about to finish it up. And this track starts out with a huge orchestra beginning to play, and it is lovely. It has strings throughout, it has distorted guitars throughout, sick breakdowns, sick solos. You're gonna love this when you're fighting the last boss.
I feel like a big orchestral track is exactly what you need for something like this. You need something intense, you need something big that's gonna make you feel like, oh my gosh, this is a moment in the game that I'm playing.
Exactly.
Perfect
Make it
choice.
feel huge. You're about to finish this game. Make it feel huge.
Final boss. Speaking of finishing games or the things being over.
Yes. If you fail to defeat Chris, our boss in combat, you will then fail the game and you will die, as most people in video games do. And when this happens, you kind of want, and you have a title card at your game over screen as well. Like I feel like my favorite title card for a game over screen is usually Fire Emblem for Nintendo. When there's just a sword jammed into the ground and it looks like everybody's dead around you, and it's horrific, terrible. So I figured I'd pick a song for this that fit that idea. So let's go to it. So it's a
great one.
If anybody knows Evanescence, this is Bring Me to Life. I feel like it's good in both lyric and concept, with death and being dead in a game. And again, the more you hear it, the more you die in the game, the less you'll want to be at the game over screen, and the more you'll want to restart the game and be brought back to life.
And that's perfect
that right?
because lyrically it fits exactly with what's going on. And so I feel like, lyrically the song also matches. This is a perfect choice, John.
Thank you very much.
This is a perfect choice. A1 with this one. Well, next we have the in-game radio track. So we've described there's a lot of different elements to this video game we're creating. I'm going to add this kind of GTA element because I'm picturing GTA radio when I think in-game radio track. And for GTA radio, I would pick future March Madness, if that's the vibe we're going for. It just seems like we have a car in this game all of a sudden, and so we're driving around doing our thing, and this is a great song to just kind of drive to. I'm also a big future fan because it adds to this world that we're creating that is in space, but also has cars, but also we're fighting bosses.
Right,
There's a lot going on.
We're fighting our boss. Yeah, if you were to get into this car, right, and you were to you're tinkering around, you're like while driving this fictional car, you were like, oh, let me see what's on the radio, and you just accidentally hit the X button or something, and then just future comes on. It'd It'd be a nice surprise. It'd be a really fun surprise.
Exactly. It's like a nice little moment. So I thought I had to throw that in there.
The entirety of the game takes place in the month of March.
Exactly. There we go. There we go. That's relevant. That's a good one.
That's how it is. So next we have a song that sounds like how Mountain Dew tastes. And what we mean by this is a song that really gets you fueled for your game, a song that really makes you energetic and gives you that sugar rush that you need to get through the game with that green power that we can only associate with Mountain Dew.
Exactly. So what song did you pick?
So the song that I picked for this is a song by the band called Magic Sword. It's called In the Face of Evil, and Magic Sword is kind of a Daft Punk-esque band. They are all dressed up like Daft Punk. There are 3 of them, but they have a neon stripe that goes right around their eyes. Basically, they're kind of an 80s Tron-style synthwave, vaporwave group, and they make these songs that really inject, I feel like, a sugar rush into me every time I hear them, so that's why I picked them for this. Specifically, this song has a lot of arpeggiators, really harkens back to that 1980s old video game sound.
Love that.
Not exactly an 8-bit song, but it is a track that gets me really riled up and really excited to continue playing. So
That's perfect. That's a perfect choice.
And then now we move into minigame music, which is probably one of my favorite prompts that we selected because there are just so many possibilities.
There are so many possibilities. I think this is our last prompt as well, but when I think of minigame music and I think of minigames, I think of something that could be chaotic. There's a lot going on in the minigame, and clearly the game that we have created has many elements, so we don't even know what this minigame is going to be.
You finish this ridiculous game that we've created for you. You're done.
There's horses,
it's
there's
all
bosses.
over. Right, you've ridden your horse down the Old Town car. And the whole game has happened, and then you get back, and you're like, all right, what's the replay value? I'm going to play some mini games. And you got to pick a song in this that's going to be super erratic and fit any situation. And Tia, what song did you select for this?
Well, erratic is a perfect word because I picked by 100 Gex Ringtone. It is the remix with Charlie XCX and Rico Nasty. This song just has a lot going on in it. It has a lot going on. There's a lot of different sounds. It is a hyperpop song, and it's also, it gets really intense. There's this break in the middle and Rico is kind of yelling and doing her thing, and there's so many different sonic elements to it, and I feel like whatever mini game we're playing, this matches it perfectly no matter what the game. So had to pick a 100 Gex song for this.
I love the selection of 100 Gex because I feel like that also just fits a video game realm so well, that kind of hyper pop edge to it. And also, like, when you're in a minigame, you could be doing anything. We could have, I would say, I would gather that we have at least 5 minigames in our game.
Oh, absolutely.
All of them are each you're doing something completely ridiculous and completely different than the last one, I'm sure. Yeah.
Who even knows what it would be?
Who even knows?
The next video game soundtrack we do. We'll
One of the
hammer out those details.
One of the mini games got to be like, you got to host the whole 2-hour stream. You just got to do the whole thing.
In front of your console and just talk for 2 hours straight. You know, that's perfect. That's perfect.
The chat's covered up too.
Exactly. You gotta like dodge things. So that's great. I love it.
So everybody, that was our mixtape. We had a really great time putting it together, and we have put a link for that mixtape and our other mixtapes in our link below on Spotify. If you also want to make any of your own custom mixtapes on Spotify, you can send us the link to the email address below.
Yes, we definitely want to hear from you all. And if you enjoyed this, you can follow us and check us out every day, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/rollingstone.
And you can catch us anytime, 24/7 on our Discord. We would like to just thank everybody for coming out, watching the show today, and enjoy your E3 2021 experience.
I appreciate really good character development. You're following a character and you really get to see how they grow, the adventures they go through, the turmoils that they have to go through as well, the obstacles and how much they just grow as a character, the relationships, and it really made me appreciate good character writing and character development, so which I definitely use in my other projects all the time.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
As a part of Play for All